how long should a new pool heater last? A new gas-powered pool heater should last you approximately 7 to 10 years with regular maintenance. In theory, you should get much more than that, and in previous times you would. Previous generations might have got 20 years out of their gas heaters, but as with a lot of things now, they're mass-produced, and the name of the game is the low upfront costs, so you might be sacrificing some longevity with equipment purchase nowadays. I usually tell my customers to expect 7 to 10 years on average, but you have to recognize that how you balance your water chemistry has everything to do with how long your heater is going to last. If you just completely don't care about your water and you balance by eye or something like that, you could be exposing the heater to adverse chemical situations just from the day it's installed. And if that's the case, I've seen them last 6 months or a year, and then they're rotted beyond service. So don't think that, well, I just get a new heater, it'll last me years. You have to take care of it. You have to balance your water. You also have to make sure that you're protecting the heater against galvanic corrosion by bonding the heater. You should have a sacrificial anode installed in your pump room, but the bonding's a big one. That's something you don't see very often. Go check your heater casing. Is it bonded? Does it have a bare copper wire that attaches to the heater casing? If you don't have that, you should have that, so look into that more, and you can read on my website about that, swimmingpoolsteve.com. There's a lot of information about heater care and heater bonding on there, something that we don't see enough of in the pool industry. And the final thing that I'll say about longevity for pool heaters nowadays is a lot of times I'm seeing pool heaters that are failing because saltwater systems were added after the fact. The salt wasn't original with the swimming pool installation, but at some point somebody added it in. When you add a saltwater cell and you have a pool heater, you have to have a check valve in between those two items. The salt chlorinator is going to be the last component before the water returns to the swimming pool, or it better be, because that's the way it needs to be. And then you need to have a check valve, or a one-way valve, in between the gas heater and that salt chlorinator. If you don't have that, what happens is every time you turn your pool pump off, it takes about 3 seconds for the flow meter, or the flow switch inside of that salt chlorinator, to recognize that there's no more water circulating and to stop producing chlorine. In those 3 seconds or so, there's actually quite a bit of chlorine that's still generated, but now there's no momentum of flow taking that and back to the pool. That heavily chlorinated water just kind of sits there in the cell, or more often than not travels backwards through the system to the very next component, which is the header of your heater, the one place that you do not want to have concentrated chlorine sitting. So this is something that I see time and again. If you have salt water and you have a gas pool heater, go outside and check it immediately. Do you have a check valve in between your salt cell and the heater? If you don't, you need one immediately, and probably, potentially, you've already caused damage to the pool heater. So that's something that should have been installed at the time that the salt cell was installed.